The night has come. Ben Simmons returns to Philly for his first game on the court against his old squad. Doug Norrie covers the Brooklyn Nets for the Locked On Nets podcast. And I'm bringing him in now because I got to see how the Brooklyn fans feel about Simmons' return to the city of so-called brotherly love. He ain't getting much love tonight, Doug, I can tell you that. But he scored in double figures the last 3 games. So before we break down or go into tonight's games, what's the difference in how he's been playing now compared to the first 9 games of the season?
Yeah, over the last 2 games, it's been considerably different. Much more aggressive when it comes to the offensive end. In the past, over the beginning part of the season, it was clear that there was a timidness on his part, that he didn't really want to engage, especially defenders that were sort of hanging back in the lane against him. But that has not been the case over the last couple of games. He's been happy to get into the lane. He's actually been taking shots. There was a fear, I think, at the beginning that he kind of didn't want to shoot. 19 shots over the last 2 games. He's 17 for 19 in that time. So they're getting in. It's really just about taking advantage, getting downhill against bigger defenders that he can get by. And then if he can't, stopping the lane for the little jump hook that he's been really good at in the past. Like in the past, he's been able to utilize his height and speed against bigger defenders because he can get by them. That wasn't the case earlier in the year. It's been a clear difference between Portland and Memphis, like what he's been able to do on that end.
Let's talk about that confidence, because that was something that he was lacking for quite some time, but his stock and his confidence are rising. But do you and Nets fans feel like he's actually ready to return to Philly tonight because it's going to get hostile?
Well, he's got kind of a soft landing here because they don't have Harden, Maxey, and Embiid. So from that standpoint, it kind of lines up pretty well to not have some of that narrative piece around it. I think that is always helpful. It's just good for the Nets to look. You never root for injuries, but it's a considerably less of a lift to not have those guys playing for Philly. I think from that standpoint, it's good. It's going to be a hostile crowd. Philly fans have no love lost here. If, Twitter and these other places can be believed, they are still not happy with how this ended. And I kind of get it. So from that standpoint, it's going to be hostile, and they do not want to see him succeed under any circumstances. But I think the situation lines up pretty well for him in terms of just being able to play without having some of those other storylines. Like, don't have to have Harden out there to compare him to. Don't have to have Embiid out there as part of the story about how they didn't fit. So I think from that standpoint, like I said, the landing is pretty soft. And, for him, I think that's actually pretty important for a player like him.